You're listening to the Dyslexia Mom Podcast. We are excited that you're here today. We are here to provide you with inspiration, education, and lots of support while raising your children with dyslexia. I'm your host, Nicole Holcomb, a mom just like you raising a daughter with dyslexia. And by the way, I also have 20 years of experience as an educator, school counselor, school district administrator, and an attorney. I can't wait to share conversations with you about parenting children with dyslexia. If you want to raise happy, healthy, and successful children while keeping your sanity and enjoying your best life along the way, then you're in the right place. This is the Dyslexia Mom Life Podcast. Imagine that, and maybe this isn't a stretch, your daughter can't get to sleep at night. No matter what she does, she can't get settled and she just can't get to sleep. She was physically sick every morning this week when it was time for school. You ask yourself, what is going on? Then you visit her school for a special event and you notice when you look over at her classmates that her writing is quite different from the other students. You can actually read the words the other children have written on their paper about why their mom is so special. You can't make out any of the words your child has written, and your daughter says, I just can't remember either. You ask yourself again, what is going on? You notice a friend has posted on Facebook a video of her son, and he's reading in the back seat on the way to school, and he's so excited, and mom is just bragging. Then you hear a friend talk about how her daughter loves to read chapter books before bed. And you think, wow, my daughter's still struggling just to learn the sight words. She still learns a few at a time, and then a couple days later, she just can't remember them. You ask yourself again, what is going on? And then one day, it hits you. It hits you hard in the face, and you think, I think my daughter is dyslexic. And your question changes from what is going on to now what? And of course you do what every good mom does. You start with your friends Google and Pinterest, because they're going to know everything that you need to know. And really, what are you searching for? You're really looking for, what are the symptoms? What are the signs? How do I know? What do I do next? Well, you can completely stop that search now, because I've done, believe me, all of the Google searches. I've read the articles. I've read the books. In fact, I'm going to be doing an episode just for you on what my favorite books are and giving you a little bit of review. So I've got your back here. Don't listen to what everybody's going to tell you. Don't listen to people who say, it's something else, or, you should wait for a certain age, or for your child to fail a certain amount of grades. Oh, it's just developmental. It will click. Well, we've already talked about that in the last episode. It is neurological. It is not going to click. So you may be thinking, so I think my child is dyslexic. So what are the characteristics? What do I do? Well, my friend, just for you, I have created a checklist, a free checklist for the 5 signs of dyslexia. You can find that freebie at dyslexiamomlife.com/episode 3. Again, that's dyslexiamomlife.com/episode 3, and that's the number 3, not spelled out. In episode 3, I'm going to walk you through some of the characteristics of dyslexia and some of the best resources you can use. So let's take a few minutes just to sit back and listen, see if any of these strike a chord for you and your family. Specifically, things you see with the child you think may be dyslexic. Has your child had reading difficulties? What about difficulty distinguishing sounds in words? What about spelling? Is he or she struggling to spell? Maybe their handwriting is not legible. Vocabulary. Comprehension difficulties. Maybe they were even delayed in saying their first words and speaking. Also, they could have difficulty following directions. oral and written directions. The student could be easily distracted, maybe difficulty retaining information, and you may see some high levels of frustration, which is to be understood. And we understand why, right? If you have older children, you may see that they're reading below grade level. They read very slowly and they have many inaccuracies. Maybe they just avoid writing and avoid reading aloud altogether. They could show troubles in math, especially with word problems. Think about a child that can't read having to read a word problem. That's going to impact their answer, of course, because they're just going to be guessing. Maybe they forget to hand in their homework. Difficulty with time management, and they could have trouble even telling time. Dyslexic children also, though, may demonstrate strengths in the following areas. And we see a lot of this in our daughter. Creativity, a large vocabulary, a great imagination, and they spend time building. Does your child build with, all types of things? We're a big Lego fan at our house, so we do a lot of Lego builds. And even early on, our daughter enjoyed solving puzzles. So does your child enjoy that? So these are many characteristics. If you start reading or you hear some of the things that we just talked about and you think, yeah, I see many of those characteristics. I see my child frustrated. I see my child struggling to learn those words and to pronounce those words, or to even just guess based on what they may be seeing in the pictures or by a clue from something else. So the next step I would take, though, is to contact your pediatrician. Rule out that there's no other health explanation. And then look for a good psychologist who's familiar with dyslexia. Now, you can go the local public school route. Of course, this is a free option. You want to check with your states, because many states will not recognize dyslexia. Some of that is changing. They will diagnose a student with a specific learning disability, but they won't use the word dyslexia. But we are seeing even in Georgia, they're starting to use that word with some recent legislation. And even sometimes, depending on your area, a local college or university may offer an assessment. In the meantime, though, your child is still frustrated, right? It could take many weeks, many months to get an assessment, to get in to discuss the results of the assessment. So what do you do in the meantime? Your child's frustrated, you're frustrated. They continue to struggle to learn. Well, what I would recommend is finding, depending on the subject, math or reading or both, finding you a good tutor. And I'm going to talk about that in one of the other upcoming episodes. The big thing I can tell you right now, though, is to find someone that's experienced in working with students with dyslexia. Many teachers have not been specifically trained to work with students with dyslexia. We chose to go the route of what they call an Orton-Gillingham tutor, who is a tutor who specializes in dyslexia and specific pieces of that in regards to a multisensory approach. And we can talk more about that in an upcoming episode, but I will also include some links in the show notes if you want to go ahead and look at some of that information prior to that next episode that will be coming up here in the next couple episodes. So now you have a better idea of what's going on and what you're going to do. So we're going to get your kiddo what she needs. And believe me, I've been there. It's overwhelming. It's frustrating. You're angry. And believe me, you're not alone. There are moms who have already walked down this path and can help. And I have been able to connect with many of those moms, and it really does make a difference. We also would invite you to also send us, some questions. What is it that you're struggling with? What is it you need to know about parenting your child with dyslexia? And again, I've got that free checklist for you, the 5 signs of dyslexia, and I have the characteristics there of dyslexia as well. And you can find that at dyslexiamomlife.com/episode 3. And are you already subscribed to our podcast? If not, I want to encourage you to do that today. I don't want you to miss out on an episode. I'm going to be recording some bonus episodes for you. And if you're not subscribed, there's a good chance you'll miss out on those. So subscribe where you listen to your podcast, and that will just pop right up naturally in your feed with those bonus items. That way you won't miss a thing. And I would be really grateful if you could leave a review, just a couple quick minutes on iTunes. Those reviews help other moms find our podcast. And if you can too, click on that review. You're going to select ratings and reviews, and then it's going to say write a review. And I'd love to know your favorite part of the podcast that you've been listening to. Thank you so much. Bye for now.